for the NFL. What a disaster for Memphis in Boca Raton. They call that paradise. At least FAU claims it is paradise. It was not yesterday for Memphis. And Jawatch, it's on high alert, although most people are saying he goes to Europe because those are spotlight games, plays for the Grizz, comes back, and then will depart. We'll all be watching intently on that. We got medals coming your way. Ken Moody is going to join us in the second segment. Jeff Moore on an airplane hopefully will land in time to talk NFL with us in our final segment. So, picks this week. I was 5-2. That includes the playoffs for the collegiate side of it and for the NFL with one game to go. Landon playing catch-up. Sometimes I think you just went opposite me to try and hook something in. You go 3-4, so we both have Houston tonight, so nothing's going to change here. I'm 44-36. You are 35-45. 10 games under 500 and quickly running out of time. Hey, what games there were this weekend? Can you pick one? I could pick the worst of the NFL playoff games. That was the last one because New England absolutely dominated a Charger team that they may be firing their OC, who's been with the Harbaugh family, both teams, Baltimore and L.A., with that family for years. Roman is his name. He may be out because they could do nothing against New England. But every other game, and I'll go back, we had a stinker second game. I mean, the Ole Miss game was just fantastic, that playoff game with the controversial call. But the Indiana-Oregon game, no one saw coming. So out of all these games, you had one sort of one-sided game in the NFL. The last one, I mean, wasn't ridiculous, 16-3. They fought. They just couldn't get anything going. 6 sacks, I believe, New England had on the Chargers. And then, poor Herbert. And then the Oregon-Indiana game. I mean, who saw that one come? That was a 10-point game in the regular season, and there was no game in the playoffs. Your favorite one?
Honestly, my favorite one from the weekend, I really did enjoy watching the Indiana game. There's just something about seeing a team go out there and dominate all aspects of the game just shows borderline what perfect football looks like because they could do no wrong. Fernando Mendoza looks absolutely incredible. When it came to the NFL, I was actually, even though it was really tight and really closely contested, if the Bills did not have Josh Allen at the helm, they would have been nowhere near in that game. He severely carried them to that victory. Very good game there, but I would say my favorite one from the NFL this past weekend probably had to come down to the great comeback that your Bears had. The Bears coming back with Williams and Colston Loveland just lighting things up. 25 points in the fourth quarter. It was not as impressive as Hawaii's comeback win when they were down 21-0. But 21-3 is still impressive.
21-6 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
7th time. Well, we'll get to that in medals. That obviously was my favorite game
of the
week.
I think that's an easy one to pick.
The team I've been watching since I was 5 years old and going to games starting at 6 years of age in 1959. That team going on, that's big for me. So anyway, that's...
and over the Packers, too.
And over the Packers who thought they had it won.
Thought they were shooting.
I'm also going to, I give them a medal in this positive, but I give them a medal negatively, and I'll get into that because I don't know what their head coach is doing. I don't understand, especially in the playoffs where defense is so important, teams not taking points, teams going on 4th down deep in their own territory. Even if it works, it's stupid in my estimation, but we'll get into that in a little bit. All these games were absolutely terrific. There is no question about that. As far as the Tigers go, we've got Ken Moody coming up in a little bit to talk about it. I don't understand where this team is. I don't know if this is NIL derived or what? It used to be guys played hard because they wanted playing time and they had pride and they wanted to win games so much it meant everything. They gave 100% of the time. Now, I don't know if it's because they get a paycheck, if they're disappointed, if they don't start. I don't know what the problem is. But this game at FAU between the Tigers and the Owls, which I think we can make a little bit of a point as a budding rivalry, because who else have you got in this league? You know, a little bit of UAB maybe, but you know, this goes back to the NCAA robbery and everything else, and usually their fans show up in droves to watch the game. They didn't yesterday, so I have no idea what was going on, but the Tigers did not show up. It reminded me so much of the UNLV game, where they didn't come to play. They just thought they could take the court, I guess. I have no idea. But we'll talk about that with Kenny Moody for sure. All right. We do a thing on the weekends. It's called Medals. It's brought to you by the good folks at Family Leisure. We're in the Family Leisure studios, but you need to get to I-40 and Whidden Road. A new sale coming soon, but still cash in on all the hot tub and swim spa clearance sale prices, even the in-stock patio furniture with unreal deductions. You can get special financing, and if you mention us, you get a free gift. It's a good one, too. All you got to do is get to I-40 and Whidden Road. Go see Billy. Go see Lindsay. She owns the place. It looks gorgeous inside. It's really a cool place. Go check it out. Tell them we sent you to Family Leisure. All right. I got lots of medals. I'm sure my friend Landon Schmidt does, too. Let's get to it. I'm going to start with a bronze medal for a kid named Devin Williams. He's a forward for FAU. He had 7 blocks in the game against Memphis. They had 9. He had 7 of them. I can't remember in all the years, and remember I started doing the women on radio in 1983. I started doing the games on TV in 1986. I can't remember anybody in all that time ever getting 7 blocks in one game against the Memphis Tigers. The only one that could possibly have done that, and I don't remember, was an NCAA game, Memphis against Ohio State in the Calipari era, where Greg Oden might have had that kind of number. Joey Dorsey had kind of PO'd him because Joey kind of dismissed him. Wasn't too smart. He might be the only one. 7 blocks in one game. And this guy's now got 51 blocks for the year. He's got more than half the team's blocks. Impressive, for sure. I give a bronze medal to Cedric Coward and to Cam Spencer. They were outstanding in the comeback win from Brooklyn. So what a weekend for the Grizzlies. They have a 21-point lead that they let go of against OKC, which is maybe the best team in the league. They are the defending champs. And then they're down 8 and go on a 13-0 run in the last 3 minutes of the game to beat Brooklyn. So they let one go, and then they got one back. It all evened out for sure. And Cedric Coward had 21 points. He had 2 big shots at the end. Cam Spencer had 13 assists in the game, and he had double digits again. Santi Aldama was good in the game. Jock Landale was good in the game. No Ja, and we're on high alert with Ja. As I said, looks like he goes to Germany. I think they want him to play in that because those games are a spotlight in Europe for whatever they're trying to do with Europe. Sell jerseys, I guess. Sell merch. I can't see how they would ever put a team there, but they are trying to maybe organize a new league there, which would be a feeder league. We'll see how it all plays out, but I think they want Ja to play in that game. I'll get into my rust as to why he hasn't played now. We'll see. But that could be the last 2 times he plays in a Memphis uniform. We will keep our eye on all of that. But Coward and Spencer and the Grizz get a bronze. Buffalo and Josh Allen, you realize last night when Buffalo won that game on the road was the first time in 33 years they'd won a playoff game on the road? That is stunning.
Yeah.
Allen, as you mentioned, they don't get there without him. 273 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, and he runs the ball in from the 1 with 1:04 to go in the game. Josh Allen willed his team to victory, and they're actually the favorites in the divisional round game. Wow. I'm not sure I go there with that, but we will see. Silver medal, Chicago Bears, their ability to come back. Caleb Williams, well over 300 yards. A comeback for the 7th time this year. 7 times. I want to say, I think for the league, 7 times in 1 year. Look, the Bears now have 12 wins. More than half the time, they've had to come back and win the game late in the 4th quarter. It's unreal. The guy plays better under pressure, Caleb Williams does. 7 times. I think that's the most in the NFL since like the 60s. It's crazy. He's amazing. He definitely, you look in his eyes at the end of a game or in the huddle, you don't see anybody questioning anything. I mean, he's got them locked in. They are, by the way, underdogs at home against the Rams. And then 2 gold medals. 1, the NFL playoffs. All these games.
Yep.
Well, there are 6 games, correct, in the wild card round.
Mm-hmm.
4 have been incredibly close. The one great defensive performance in a game that was still a 13-point game, so wasn't decided till the last 5 minutes, really. And then you got tonight's game, which I think will be an interesting game because the favorite is the road team, although 3 road teams have already won.
Yeah.
They won literally half the games. Depending on what happens tonight, it could be more. It could be 2/3 of the games.
Yeah.
So, and I think we both picked Houston to win, so that could possibly be it. But the drama and the close finishes, the NFL, for their parody, for their entertainment, they get a gold from me, and the final one goes to Indiana. You know, you mentioned it. It's perfect. This, and it's why we both thought, I think, before the playoffs really began, that Indiana would be the national champion. They are the number 1 seed. It's because they've got the most complete team. They're incredible with Mendoza. He's the best quarterback. He's going to be the number 1 player in the draft. He won the Heisman. They got a good offensive line. Their defense is phenomenal. Look what they did to Oregon. Special teams, they blocked the punt that became a touchdown.
Yeah.
They are complete. And I think they will complete their mission in the championship game. What is that? When is that? Is that it's the 19th? It's Monday.
Yeah.
Monday night.
Yeah.
Man. They're avoiding the NFL, which I don't blame them.
No, it's a good plan.
And that I can't wait for that game. Miami's at home.
Yeah.
And there's no other circumstance where you're going to get a home team, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the only place that's got a team in a city with an NFL team that you play in that NFL stadium, and that's where they're going to put it. Because they're only going to put the championship games in warm weather or domes. And I don't know of any other colleges that you could say that could be, that they could have a national championship game in their backyard. So this is so unique in Miami. But Indiana's too good. I don't see how Indiana doesn't win it for sure.
Yeah, until they are taken off their throne, I don't see anybody in real time doing that to Indiana. But yeah, my medals for the weekend, I only have 1 bronze just because of all the games that we saw. It was a great defensive battle for both sides. It was the defense that shined in the Patriots and the Chargers in that game. But May played a great game. He controlled what he needed to control, got that passing touchdown to Hunter Henry, who I believe made that touchdown catch against his former team in the Chargers to send them to the next round of the playoffs.
Pride of Arkansas, correct?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. And so that was it was a great game. I remember walking down and I saw my father and I was just like, well, anybody who doesn't love football could call this game a doozy. And he was like, well, if you're a defensive minded guy like we are, it was a great game because both of these guys. I mean, the red zone defense in that game was incredible. They would drive it all the way down the field and just nothing could happen. But they did do what they needed to do, got points when they needed to, and then May just basically took over at the very last seconds of the game. Silver medal, I'm giving it to Miami's Carson Beck. He played, I believe, better than all expectations. All year he's been doing good, kind of flying under the radar as Miami's QB. But to go in there and do what he did with, I believe, more than 280 passing yards, with that final rushing TD as the last seconds of that game ticked away. My heart breaks for Ole Miss and the incredible run that they had, but Miami, their defense, their running back, what was his name? Mark Fletcher, who had 133 yards rushing, completely controlled the game. I mean, Miami played really well on both sides of the ball. Of course, their defense is always going to be something to be reckoned with, but their offense came to play in that game against a really high-powered offense in Ole Miss, too.
By the way, since you mentioned the Chambliss and Ole Miss, they are appealing the NCAA decision.
I saw that.
They have filed a case in Mississippi's court. And it just says to me, it's just begging now. The NCAA can't win because if they set a rule and they abide by the rule, and look, I'd love to see Chambliss come back to Ole Miss, but the rules are the rules, right? Memphis never gets a sixth year for anybody.
Right.
That's the rules. But if you can go to court and win that way, this is why it begs the need for congressional help.
Yep.
They need to step in and help define what needs to be done. Because you make a rule and the court's going to overturn it because it's a biased court in your state.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's just another one of the tallies of the craziness that is college football right now. But a lot of silver medals. You already mentioned it, but it was the comeback playoff weekend of games in the NFL. I mean, first the Bills and Josh Allen, who literally carried this team to victory, came down to the wire, but two impressive tush pushes back to back to basically send them to Denver was really, really impressive with this team who, a lot of people believed in the Jaguars and they were competitive the entire game. Really gave the Bills a huge scare. But if there's going to be any road, if there's going to be any way that Josh Allen gets the Bills to the Super Bowl, it's this year. There's no Mount Mahomes, there's no Joe Burrow, no Lamar Jackson. This is his only clear path. It's still a daunting task because
it's in Denver.
It is in Denver, and there's a lot to be said there, but they continue on. The 49ers played good enough to overcome what our good friend Brian Dacus would call a very terrible Eagles team. I'm sure there's no bias in that, him being a Cowboys fan and all, but still, the Eagles, I think, still played a good game, but a 13-point comeback in the fourth quarter was just insurmountable, and Demarcus Robinson had himself a day, 111 receiving yards and a touchdown, started the game off with a huge reception that got them deep into Eagles territory and then capped it off with the touchdown catch. He played incredible. Your Bears had a very, very impressive win. Like I mentioned, not as good as Hawaii's. It's 21-0, but still, for them to put 25 points in the fourth quarter alone was very, very impressive. That Williams and Loveland connection was something that I'm sure Bears fans are going to be enjoying for a really long time.
I hope so. Yeah, Bears have Komet and Loveland. They've got 5 receivers now, really.
It looks really good. The future's very bright for Chicago. And then also the Rams, who had a phenomenal 2-minute drill to end their game with one of the most athletic catches I've ever seen from a tight end. And that tight end and Colby Parkinson from Stafford, just completely beautiful. You couldn't have placed the ball any better. You couldn't have made the catch any better for that game to come down to the wall. But I'm also going to give a medal, I guess I'll knock it down to a bronze since they lost, but a medal to the Panthers, who you're an 11-point underdog coming into that game. Not a lot of people have faith in you. Aside from that very last drive where they had a chance to send it into overtime, they played a phenomenal game against a really, really good Rams team. So I have to give them a shout out as well. But my only gold medal, it's going to, there's winning a college football playoff game and then there's dominating a college football game, and that's exactly what Indiana did. And I even told myself when I saw that opening kickoff and Indiana flew to the ball and completely laid out their return man, and then the exact next play was a pick 6 to put them on the board, I said, look out, this is not good. Oregon did respond right after, but
they came back out and scored.
Put together a beautiful drive to take it all the way down the field, but That was about all they had
was
to
it.
show for that. That was
you know
just
what?
bad.
When they came down and scored, I really did think, okay, we're going to have a game.
We're going to
They're
have a little
ready
bit
to
of a
ship.
competition.
And then forget about it. It was all one-sided.
Yeah.
Okay, quickly. Rust. I give Ben Johnson, the Bears head coach, a rust for his calling in the first half. I don't get it. It should have been a 14-9 halftime score. That's what Green Bay up 14-9 instead of 21-3 because he wouldn't take points. He did ridiculous things. Even though he made it on 4th and 2 from his own 28 when they're down 7-3, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you not take points when you are in field goal range? To me, some of this analytics stuff that they do or this over-aggressiveness stuff in playoffs where one possession means so much, crazy. I give him a rust. I give Ja and right calf contusions. Come on now. He might have originally had a right calf contusion. He's had a grade 1 sprain that cost him like 3 games. But clearly he's playing games with the Grizzlies front office. Or now they're playing games with him and they're going, we're not playing you because we're trading you unless the NBA says we got to play in Europe. Really? Crazy. So that whole situation gets a rust. And then I got to give a rust to the Tigers. They didn't show up to play at FAU. I have no idea why. Penny used his 11th starting lineup in now 15 games. They can't settle on a rotation because they can't come with energy. I'm not sure what that story is all about, if that's NIL or whatever it is, but that gets a rust. Not showing up to a game, no energy, no effort. Come on.
Yeah, I just have one big rust, and that goes to Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert will go down as one of the greatest regular season QBs that we've seen play football. I mean, he can get the job done. He can get you the winning record. He can do all that needs to be done. But the second that the Chargers enter the playoff picture, they're almost guaranteed to be out. That is now, I believe, 3 years in a row that they have been first-round exits. Justin Herbert still does not have a playoff win under his belt. Looks really, really bad for him and the Chargers organization. So I don't know if there needs to be huge changes coming, but it seems that Justin Herbert just can't get over the hump.
Well, they're going to change their OC. And in defense of Herbert, he was sacked 6 times.
He was. It was a great defensive battle, but
they had 2 tackles that have been injured, starters.
It was a terrible offensive line production for the Chargers as well.
I think
but still,
it's more the Chargers' offense as a whole than Herbert.
It is that, but for this to happen as many years in a row as it has, there's still something just not clicking.
Those are our rust medals. One final note. We send our sympathies, our thoughts, and our prayers to the Luce family. Dave Luce, former Tiger coach, former Tiger player. His wife, Phyllis, passed away after a lengthy illness. Also, the mom of Brad Luce, who was a fundraiser for the U of M for a little bit, now at Missouri. Our thoughts and our prayers to the Luce family. A wonderful woman indeed. She will be greatly missed. This portion of the show brought to you by ATC Fitness. 18 locations. Never have to sign a contract. Family-owned business. Always the latest equipment. I know you've resolved now. That's always the New Year's resolution, get in shape. This is the place to do it. You have 18 places you can go to, 24/7. Always the latest equipment. Always clean as a whistle. They've got the massage stuff and the every new thing they got. And it's open all the time, and you don't have to actually make a commitment. Just go in, check it out. They got different price ranges. It's the place to go. ATC Fitness. Exercise your right to look good. And this portion of the show brought to you by Cadillac of Memphis. That's Landers Cadillac of Memphis. You say Landers, you know it means something special. They've got that brand new redone Cadillac showcase on Poplar. They still have some grand opening savings from that going on, especially on the new 2024 Escalade. You can save $20,000 on all of those. You know, if it says Landers, they're paying top dollar for trade. See how much you could save with the Landers Easy Pass. You just go to CadillacofMemphis.com. Don't miss out on all the savings. The best new Cadillac models always go fast. And remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much. Back in a minute. Ken Moody, my new partner on the basketball broadcasts. He joins me in just a minute, right here on Wallow and Friends.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The Memphis Hustle are back for their first game of 2026, Tuesday, January 13th against the Sioux Falls Skyforce. Be here at the Landers Center for the 7 p.m. tip-off to start your year right with some Hustle hoops. Secure your seats today at memphishustle.com.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme Cannabis, that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
Listen up, Rebel fans. Your next winning drive starts at Landers Ford in Collierville. Their game plan is simple. Find you the most savings possible. Make a trade, lower your payments, or let them buy your vehicle even if you don't buy from them. That's how you keep moving the chains. Just like the Grove on game day. Fans all across the Mid-South keep coming back to the #1 Ford dealership in Greater Memphis. See them today in Collierville or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. When you own a Landers Ford, you get the support of a certified service tech with the Landers Ford Remote Service Experience Program. They pick it up, drop it off, or fix it on the spot, so you're never left watching from the sidelines. To finish the drive, the iconic Landers Easy Pass always brings more for your trade and the biggest discounts to put you in victory formation. And now, straight from the 1977 Ole Miss football team that took down #1 ranked Notre Dame, the final snap of the day from Landers Ford President Don Kitchens.
If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2024 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report in Memphis Market.
Come on and let the good times roll, y'all. Or as we say in Louisiana, laissez le bon temps rouler. The Orleans in the Ville with our made-from-scratch red beans, jambalaya, gumbo, po' boys, and made-fresh daily muffaladas right here in Collierville. Eat, drink, and stay for dessert like our homemade bread pudding with warm bourbon sauce. Monday through Friday, meat and two with homemade veggies, so good you bring your mom and them. Brunch every Saturday and Sunday. Right here, the Orleans in the Ville, 336 New Byhalia Road, where great food, live music, and endless fun meet.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawald Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawald is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
I got a hankering for some barbecue. That means I got to head on over to the commissary, Germantown or Collierville. Now, if I'm really hungry, I want to go to the one in Collierville because they've got that new buffet Monday through Friday. 3 proteins. There's always chicken. There's always pork. Plus 1 other protein, 5 sides, salad, and a drink, all for under $16 at $15.95. And you know it's the best place for barbecue. You guys have said that. They did that really cool, like, Sweet 16, Round of 32. They took all the barbecue places in Memphis. They played them off, and guess who won? Yes, you guys said it. The commissary, both in Germantown and Collierville. They've got everything that makes it special. Go check it out. You got the 2 locations, that little quaint area of Germantown, and then the Palace in Collierville, right there at Poplar and Houston Levy. It's the best. It's definitely the commissary. I got to bring in a good friend, former Tiger great player, also now my new broadcast partner on the Tiger basketball games. Just filling it all in, our good friend Matt Dillon, who's done the games with me for years, has had some health issues, both his leg and some other stuff, not life-threatening, but enough where he has not been able to do the games. And Learfield made a great decision to get a former player in who's also a great guy and now a part of the university, Ken Moody. And Ken has been with me the last few games. You enjoying doing this stuff, Ken? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, David. I'm actually enjoying you being a former Tiger and being able to, talk about Tiger basketball, being there with you. I mean, you've made it so easy for me. You've been welcoming to me. I mean, Dan O'Brien and those guys have just been great. And so I'm really enjoying it. David, it really didn't hit me until I started seeing other former players doing, color commentating with their former universities. So it's really become a special and big deal for me. So I'm really enjoying it.
Me too. I'm enjoying working with you, my friend. I really am. And learning new insights, and that's fun. So I'm going to ask you right off, what the heck is going on? How did this team play so poorly yesterday? This game reminded me, and I said it earlier, It reminded me of UNLV. The team just did not come to play, and I don't get why.
You know, we talk about teams and their identity, and I think unfortunately, Dave, this year's team we don't have an identity yet. This is I think an example of the transfer portal and the impact on what it has. Of course, NIL too, but more so, I think the transfer portal, because back when I played, I know it was a long time ago. If you decided that you were going to transfer from one school to another, I mean, there was some stipulations there. You had to sit out a year. You didn't. I don't think you could go to a school in your conference. So there was some parameters in place when it came to transfer. Now it's just, Dave, it's just out of hand. I mean, you can go to a school, win, and someone can come along and offer you more money, and then you can just pack up and go, and there's no repercussions. So I think the system, and so this isn't unique to us, but specifically to our team, Dave, I just think that this is a year that we've got a group of guys that have just not bought into that team concept yet. And when I say yet, heck, we're over halfway through the season, so I'm sure people are saying, well, they're not yet win. So I think it's a combination of things. It's a challenging team. You're right. You know, I was so high on Hakeem, the Rice game. I just thought he played so well, and he didn't show up yesterday. You're right. And so, again, it's really hard to put your finger on one thing other than, 15 new guys. The transfer portal is it's just not working right now for college basketball. And we're a university that's being hampered by it right now.
I don't think it's just the portal. I wonder if NIL comes into this thing. I remember when Penny's first teams came in. He had Jeremiah Martin, really not very much talent, and those guys played their rear ends off. Then, after the James Wiseman debacle, and there wasn't quite the talent with Lomax as your leader at some point, but those guys scrapped. They came to play really hard every single game. Didn't matter whether it was an easy team or a really good competitive team. They came to play and they busted their rear ends. I just don't see this now, and I wonder if the paycheck, which is going to come whether you play good or bad, has anything to do with that.
Dave, and you've heard me get on my soapbox about this, but let me go back to you. You mentioned three names, and you talked about effort and that. You mentioned Jeremiah Martin, James Wiseman, and Alex Lomax. You know the three things those kids have in common?
Memphis.
They're Memphis kids. And Memphis kids have always, we played hard in high school basketball, and so it's in our DNA. I mean, no slight to any of these kids who are not from Memphis, but when you mention those three. But back to the NIL, and Dave, you and I have had many conversations about this NIL. I think we all can agree that the kids deserve some kind of compensation. And I gave you this scenario about these kids. I grew up poor, but I knew I had to work hard. Here we are in this current system, kids who grew up probably poor like I did, we're going to give them hundreds of thousands of dollars for a year or two, with no accountability at all, because, if you and I don't come to work, we don't get paid. Those kids don't come to work, they still get paid. Now, coach can find them and take a few dollars. And so back to the NIL conversation, when we're failing these kids when we're giving them all this money. And I say that because you're taking a poor kid like me, you're going to give me money for a year or two, and then after my career is over, chances are we know only 1% of these kids are going to make it to the NBA. I don't know how many on this team. I think 0% may make it. And I'm just being honest. And now these kids are going to go from, being poor like I was, getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, and when it's over in college, they're going to go back to being poor again. Because, again, they're not going to make this amount of money. They're not going to even make that amount if they make it in professional sports. They've not focused on an education, because if you transfer to your third and fourth school, that means whatever credit hours you got, they're all not going to transfer. So the kids are not preparing themselves for life after basketball. And so what's left for them to do? And so something's got to be done. But yeah, you're right. NIL, and here's another thing that you and I talked about. This is how NIL impacts teams, and it's not unique to us. If I'm on the team and and you're paying me $500,000, David, and you're on my team, you're my teammate, you're making $1 million, but my statistics are a heck of a lot better than yours, I'm going to feel some kind of way. I'm going to say I'm worth Dave's $1 million, and he should be getting my $500,000. So all of that plays into this, and the system's broke, Dave, and it's got to be fixed. It's got to be fixed soon. And I think that we are. There are some other things that's part of why this team's not playing well, but we're being affected, I think, by the NIL and the transfer portal big time.
Well, a great example of the wackiness of the way it is now, unless you're like a one-and-done guy, like Boozer at Duke this year, Cooper Flagg last year. A guy like Toppin, let's say. Toppin made $4 million this year to go to play for Texas Tech. He's a tweener of a guy. If he gets drafted in the NBA, I think it's a second round. The best he can be would be a two-way guy. Most of the time, a two-way guy, because it depends on how many games you play in the G League and how many games you play in the NBA. I think it maxes out at 480. Probably they average around 400, 350, 400. He's going to make 1/10, 10% of what he made this year, if he gets that. If he doesn't get a two-way, he's making, what, $40,000 a year? That's it? That's where we're at. It makes more sense for him to be in college.
It does. That's what I'm saying. You got kids now who are going to make way more money in college than they're going to make if they're fortunate enough to make it into the professional sports. And so, and specific to our team, again, we got kids again on our team that, and I know Coach is frustrated. He and I talk about it, that the effort. You and I talked about it yesterday and on every game. Effort and energy. You should bring that. But it's about life to me, Dave. It's about you're telling a kid that if you go out into this world, you get a job, you don't like it, just leave and go find another one. That's not reality, And so again, the money is a huge part of what we're dealing with, and I just think that something's got to be done. And something's got to be done soon because you're going to have colleges that are not going to survive. I mean, the rich gets richer in this scenario, and so we've got to figure this thing out. But when we were talking specifically about our team, I don't care how much money's involved, whatever, you got to personally have enough pride to go out and say, I'm going to bust my butt for my teammates and work hard. And, as we've seen, we've got very astute basketball fans here in Memphis, always have. And there's no need of us sugarcoating or trying to say what they don't see. We've got a group of guys right now that have not found their identity. And for that reason, we're experiencing a year of Tiger basketball that, quite frankly, we're not used to experiencing.
No, we're not used to this. Now, the truth is, as you mentioned earlier, we're halfway through. 15 games in, you play 31 regular seasons, then you got the tournament for the conference, and hopefully you've got postseason in the NCAA. So only halfway through. What is reasonable to expect this second half? Because everything can still be had. You can still win the conference. You got to win the conference tournament to go to the NCAA. You could still get there. My question is, did we overrate this talent a little bit? Can they still come together? What is the Ken Moody expectations for the second half?
Yeah, I think, again, I won't say they were overrated because you got to also remember, too, that we really kind of got what was left, Dave. Coach was hoping that maybe Dane got another year of eligibility, and no one knew what PJ was going to do. And so waiting was a big part of that. Realistically, for me, the rest of the season, we've had some to say we won 3 games in a row, and I thought we had turned the corner. But I think that we're going to struggle every game, Dave. I just think that every game that we play, we're not feared by anyone. No one thinks that Memphis is that team that Memphis used to be, right? And so everyone's going to play us thinks they can beat us. And what we've got to do is figure out, I think Coach is starting to try to figure out what that rotation is and how many of those guys are going to play and what those guys' role. You and I talked about this, too. And in my career here at the University of Memphis, I was a role player, Dave. I knew that I was on really good, talented teams. I knew my role, but I knew my role was an important, significant one. I didn't start, but I knew I had a significant role. And so I think these guys have really struggled with what their roles are. And some of it, has been because their roles are changing every game, right? And they can't get real comfortable and familiar with that. And so, unless we get guys to buy into what their roles are, but their roles have got to be clearly defined, right? And so once their role is clearly defined, they bought into that role and accepted it, I think we're going to see what we saw. We'll see a heck of a performance we had against Baylor, and then we'll see a UNLV performance. We'll see a team that went down to Rice and played well, and then we'll see a team that played at FAU yesterday. So I don't know if I answered the question, but that's just what this season has been so far this year.
I think you look at that Rice game and you get in that game the explanation sort of the year. First half was awful. Second year, he settled on 8 guys. They played their roles. Majak was a big part of that. He didn't play yesterday for whatever reason, and they played great in the second half, and they won that game going away after they were down by 13. So you're right. They haven't played like they did in the Bahamas or Baylor, and I don't know why. I thought Penny had it really sort of settled, and I do think we're seeing that there are 9 guys that will be in this rotation, although Barry played a whole bunch yesterday. Maybe it's 10. I don't know. But I do know this. I think Penny's on the verge of figuring out that rotation. Now it's acceptance of those roles the rest of the way, and hopefully they play together. I don't know what else you can say. They got to bring effort, right?
Yeah, I think, again, there's 2 things in what you said and what I said earlier. That is a role being clearly defined, and then the acceptance of that role. And we got, you look at these kids, they've shown flashes of each of them individually can be good. We've seen what Zach Davis can do. We've seen what Hakeem could do. We've seen what Bradshaw could do. Doug's been consistent. He's been our one consistent player. We know Sincere Parker can score the ball. But Jock is raw, but he's coming along. The more he gets to play, the better that he gets. And so we've seen flashes of the talent that this team has. We've just not seen that cohesiveness. And again, the acceptance of the roles. And again, in all fairness to the kids, their roles need to be clearly defined.
He's Kenny Moody. You can listen to him on all the games with me from here on out. Kenny, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave. It was always a joy. I appreciate you as well.
That's Ken Moody. And he is brought to you in part by Sheldon. It is the coaching carousel time, especially in the NFL and college football, where coaches pack their bags, they're moving left and right, and the same thing can happen in the real estate business. Sheldon's seen it where someone doesn't get their house sold as quickly as they would like to, so they fire their agent. They grab someone from another company. It's crazy. Before you have to fire an agent and before you put your home on the market, talk to 2 or 3 real estate brokers. Just make sure Sheldon is one of them. He's the only guy with a strategic marketing program involving preparation and presentation that makes the difference of when you sell and how much you're going to get. Experience when you're interviewing. Find out how long the other real estate agents have been in the business. And do they do it 24/7 like my guy does, Sheldon? That's why they call him Sheldon, by the way. He gets the job done. So if you want that for yourself, it's simple. You call 483-0546 or go to the website that says it all, MemphisRelocate.com. That's MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546. Jeff Moore on the NFL. He comes your way in a minute.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day
at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Hi, folks. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I hope your new year has started out in a great way. I think we're all relieved when the holidays are over and life returns to normal. And normal means that special gift-giving occasions always roll around. Over the last 5 decades, we at Russell Brothers have helped thousands of Memphians turn those special occasions into truly memorable celebrations when a small box of exquisite jewelry from Russell Brothers is opened. Beauty, quality, value, and service are what we have offered to our friends and customers for so many years, and all of that is wrapped together in the stunning jewelry you'll find at Russell Brothers Jewelers. Whether you're looking for a very important piece of jewelry for a big occasion, or perhaps just a trendy, whimsical piece to make her smile, we can help you. Remember, beauty, quality, value, and service are our offerings to you every day for every occasion. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
NST's been taking down insurance giants for over 35 years. Big firm power with hometown heart? Yeah, they don't play. It's that combination that has helped them win billions for their clients. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
Hey everybody, nothing like getting into a new All-Star Chevy Silverado to start the new year in drive. Every new 2026 Chevy Silverado you could want is right here in Olive Branch. January deals that add up to thousands in savings and financing as low as 1.9. Because hey, your good credit deserves it. Military and first responders, you get an extra $500 bonus. And if you've been looking for that new 2026 Traverse with a third row seat, they're here in Olive Branch. For the best selection of barely driven certified Chevys, All-Star is spot on. Suburbans, a nice Yukon, and so many Silverados. Come check out this huge selection of All-Star certified Chevys and the hottest pre-owned vehicles here in Olive Branch. And if you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. Together, let's drive. Don't miss the Start the New Year in Drive event going on right now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome back in, our dedicated NFL analyst over 30 years, Jeff Moore. He's been on a trip, but jiggled his airline tickets and everything else to join us now. Good morning, Jeff. We thank you for your dedication. What an NFL weekend filled with comebacks and drama. Is there a special moment that you especially liked?
Man, yes. It was the Bears. Man, it was, that last drive was epic. I am so impressed by the boys of Caleb Williams, particularly when he had to make that throw, running to his left and falling back. I don't even know what he saw when he threw that pass, but it was just perfect. And the thing that was so impressive is he had such a difficult first half and really third quarter. And the way, he talked about after the game about how he had to get that out of his system, and you could see him on the sidelines kind of beating himself up a little bit the first half, but man, to be able to focus and be able to pass with such accuracy under those circumstances was impressive.
I am impressed by his fire too. That pass you were referring to where he ran to his left, jumped, and then threw to Odunze. That I don't know how he made that thing. He's in the air, and it's a rope perfectly placed, and a great catch too. That was outstanding. He got really mad in the first half. He threw a pass, and we can hear in the background that your boarding is about to happen or whatever it is. But we could. He was yelling, and I could read his lips. He stopped. He was talking about Luther Burden, who's been a terrific receiver for the Bears. He was talking about him not running his route, and I don't know why. And I'm not sure he threw another pass to Burden after he stopped that route. That was pretty impressive. So the guy understands exactly what he's doing.
Oh, man, it's amazing. And I attribute, obviously, that to his skill set and his mental capacity, but that's coaching, man. Ben Johnson has done an incredible job with his confidence, and really the play where they ran where they threw that last touchdown pass. That play was ingenious. The way he faked the quick screen. I mean, that team is dangerous. I thought their defense played well all day. They ended up it was just a close physical game, but I thought that was an epic clash of two really good teams. I thought Jordan Love played well. Looked like he was going to get them back in a position to win, and they just came up a little bit short. But two young quarterbacks, man, that was just outstanding.
That's going to make this Bears rivalry with Green Bay even more special. What about Josh Allen? The Bills come back, and how brilliant he was in that game. That's the first road win in 33 years in the playoffs for Buffalo.
So, obviously a lot of people are pulling for Josh Allen because for the first time he's getting into the playoffs and has a pass that doesn't include Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, or Lamar Jackson. So it seemed like this might be their path. The challenge with them is they have to depend on him to be Superman every week. And he's answered the call. I mean, he was really beat up physically in that game, but he was able to mentally get himself together and play and put on his cape and do what he needed to do for Buffalo to win. So it was outstanding. I thought Jacksonville would win that game. And I was just really impressed that Buffalo was able to get it together and get that W.
And then the Rams, they come from behind. They win in the fourth quarter, 34-31 in Carolina. 3 road wins yesterday.
Yes. So the Rams, obviously, Matt Stafford was epic in that drive that they had to do at the end of the game to win the game. And Philadelphia's anemic offense just, finally came back to haunt them. I mean, they've kind of been getting away with just really not having any offensive identity. I'm just talking about the 49ers and
right.
The Eagles. But the Rams, I thought, did what they needed to do to win. I expect it's going to be a challenge for them with going to the Bears and winning with the Bears, but it's exciting to see that the Bears are going to be able to host a playoff game. The Rams, they did what they had to do. I think the fact that they've got Devontae Adams back in the lineup is going to help them tremendously, I think, against the Bears, but we'll just have to see.
San Francisco over Philadelphia in Philly. The Niners are really – McCaffrey's a great player. Purdy's a really good player. And something's wrong with Philly. The Sirianni, A.J. Brown confrontation on the sideline. They're just the teams in disarray, it seems.
They are. And it's something that's kind of haunted this team all year. They just don't have an offensive identity this year. When you shut down that run the way a lot of teams have been able to do, and their offensive line has been beat up and not as good as it was last year. But they had some opportunities. They dropped a lot of passes that Jalen Hurts put in a position for them to make the plays. So that team has not been together for a while now, and it just came back to hunt them in this game.
And then New England, their defense, that's the one game that was not really close. The Patriots with Mike Vrabel and May be the MVP of the league over the Chargers. They got no offense at all going in that game. They may be Jim Harbaugh may be firing his OC. 16-3 the final in that one.
Yeah, so the challenge there, of course, the Chargers offensive lines just have been beat up all year, and Justin Herbert is just taking such a beating. I think he's been the most sacked quarterback all year. That guy is so tough, and he kept answering the bell in that game, but they just didn't have enough. I think the injuries for the Chargers have been they've mounted and just hurt this team all year, but they're well coached. I think they're going to be in the mix in the AFC West going forward. They just fell a little short in this game because I think they're just the injuries just caught up with them.
Steelers at home tonight against Houston, and the Texans are 3-point favorites. I like Houston in this one. What do you think?
I like Houston. Their defense, the way they play defense, and the fact that Aaron Rodgers is really kind of a pocket guy that's not that mobile. I think they're going to give him a lot of trouble tonight. And I like the way C.J. Stroud has been playing the last quarter of the season, so I think that's going to help him as well. I like Houston in this game as well.
I'm pulling for Pittsburgh because of all the Memphis connections, but I do think the Texans are the better team. And all right, so now we got you were talking about how the Rams might have trouble in Chicago against the Bears next week. It's LA. They're the 4-point favorites in this game. I'm surprised.
Well, I'm not surprised that they're the favorites because of the experience of Sean McVay and Matt Stafford. They won a Super Bowl. And playoff experience is huge under normal circumstances. But the way Ben Johnson has this team believing, they play so physical. They run the ball extremely well. And, of course, Caleb Williams it's been spectacular. I like them at home. I think they've got one of the unique home crowds. You don't have the kind of home field advantage. The home field advantage with the Bears is kind of unique. It's going to be a lot more energetic than you can see at most NFL stadiums. So I like their chances. The Rams have demonstrated that sometimes you can kind of hold that offense and frustrate them a little bit. And I just think the Bears are just playing too well. They're playing with house money. I mean, they've exceeded all of our expectations. But I think they're going to be tough to beat at home.
Seattle's a 7-point favorite at home after the bye week against the 49ers. That's a lot of points, 7.
It is. I really like Seattle that represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I just think they've been consistent on both sides of the ball, and their offense is special. So I'll be looking for them to win that game in a close game. It'll be heavily contested because, of course, they're division opponents and they know each other so well. But I like Seattle's chances at home. And, again, a unique home field advantage in that stadium in Seattle.
Right. Last game is Buffalo at Denver. I'm surprised the Bills are 1.5 favorites in that one.
That's going to be a hard game for me to pick because, man, Josh Allen has gotten so close, and even though that team has struggled a little bit on both sides of the ball, particularly defensively, Denver's kind of been up and down, too, at times. They've got the best record, obviously, in the AFC, but they've been shown to have some lapses in offense, and that's a challenge for them. So we'll see what happens, but I like Buffalo's chances. Because of the way Josh Allen has been playing and because they're used to playing in cold weather.
Jeff Moore, thank you so much. We always appreciate you and your dedication. Safe travels, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much. See you next week.
You got it. That is Jeff Moore on the National Football League, and he's brought to you by Southern Security. Whether you're a small business owner, maybe you're buying your first home, maybe you're a single mom, this is the company, Southern Security, that should be your trusted financial partner. For over 75 years now, Southern Security has been serving the Mid-South with the best rates because they're a not-profit. You can't beat their rates. You can't beat their service. Look at their brand new building in Collierville. It's equipped with the greatest technology. It's a beautiful building. And, of course, Southern Security has been voted the best credit union in the Mid-South for 6 straight years. You can join so easily by going to southernsecurity.org, or you can call and talk to a human being at 901-452-7900. Southern Security, federally insured by NCUA, is your home team credit union. That does it for us. We got the usual crew coming in tomorrow. We'll see you then. Johnny Radio's right around the corner.